gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, this is my co-host Teddy, and today we're checking out the Rapoo V20 Optical Gaming Mouse. Now, we did the Rapoo mechanical keyboard, I believe it was the V800, a little while ago, and I thought it was the worst mechanical keyboard I have ever used. So let's see if Rapoo can redeem themselves with this gaming mouse. Now let's start off with the key specs then. So sensor-wise, coming in with a 3000 dpi optical sensor, has 5 programmable buttons, RGB lighting, which is quite impressive. We'll get to that a bit later. 1000 Hz polling rate, onboard memory, and a braided cable, so all sort of standard stuff for a premium mouse. However, one thing that is different is the price. This guy is coming in at $49 at Playtech at the moment. $49. Wow, now that's pretty impressive. But don't hold your breath just yet. Let's get through the rest of the review. So, looks-wise, I think this looks really good, to be honest. It looks really aggressive. I love how the bright lighting shines through the cracks. It just looks really good from the side. It looks nice as well. It's just going to really stand out, and people are going to look at it and be like, wow, what mouse is that? And I just think it looks amazing. And that's my personal opinion. This is a really good looking mouse, especially with how bright the lighting gets. Now, comfort-wise, I mean, looks only get you so far, right? So comfort-wise, it's right-handed only, which, you know, sucks if you're left-handed, but just one of those things. But it feels pretty ergonomically designed. I can say it's pretty comfortable for the most part. I didn't have really any complaints with it. Like big complaints in terms of comfort. One thing that was a little strange, I'll put it, to get used to, it wasn't really that bad, but strange, is that on the left hand side, there's not really, on this little wing here, there's not really enough room, for me anyways, to rest my pinky on it. I do have quite large hands though, so my pinky kind of kept dragging on the mouse pad sometimes, but I do have quite large hands, and that, as I said, it wasn't really a bad thing, it just felt a little bit strange to get used to. But aside from that, it's pretty good. I mean, these sides just suck in quite a bit more than many other gaming mice out there. Now, accuracy and sensitivity. Let's have a look at that optical sensor. So it has a 3000 dpi sensor, which is reasonably accurate. I mean, there was a few times when I was playing shooters that I noticed it was a little bit skippy, a tiny bit, but for the most part it did a pretty solid job. It wasn't anything to really complain about too much, I did notice it every so often. The other thing is 3000 dpi, I know a lot of people complain about me saying this, but 3000 dpi isn't going to be enough for some people out there, a small amount of people. However, they still do exist, and a lot of high DPI users, such as myself, like to have that flexibility to go a lot higher. And remember, a lot of people are using like 4K displays, multi-monitor displays, like 1440p, big 1440p displays, and all that stuff. So you have to keep that in mind as well. But as I said, it'll be a small amount of people that it won't be enough for. Now, the sensor, it doesn't do a great job, but it's definitely not bad. I'd say it's just a solid average 3000 dpi sensor. It's like a medium. It will do you well, and it felt really good to me. The other thing I should note now as well is it slides really nicely on mouse pads, so that's quite good. But the accuracy was just a tiny bit off. But aside from that, it was really, really good. Now let's get to the buttons and the scroll wheel. So the buttons themselves were quite clicky. They were quite squishy though, which, you know, having a decent amount of trouble there is a good thing, but at the same time it was, you know, they just didn't feel that responsive all the time. I'd find sometimes when I was playing games that I'd be clicking and things wouldn't be happening as fast as I would normally be used to it happening. So that was one issue there. They just felt a bit too squishy in that sense. Aside from that though, the rest of the buttons were really good. The ones on the side are quite nicely positioned. You don't have to move your thumb back too much, and the DPI button on top was also quite well placed. It's quite easy to hit if you just want on the fly DPI changes. So that was quite good as well. However, the scroll wheel was a different story. So the scroll wheel itself and how it scrolls felt fine. It had a nice stiffness to it, rolled really good. The strangest thing is, though, is that it's mounted so low, it's almost like flush with the right and left click buttons, that it feels really strange to use. Again, it's not really a bad thing. Once you get used to it, you don't tend to notice it as much. But if you come off using other gaming mice like I do, you notice it straight away, and it feels so weird because instead of putting your finger at the front of the scroll wheel and getting that nice roll a whole 180 degrees back, you're getting I don't know, like a like a 90 degree back roll on the scroll wheel. So it's just a bit strange to get used to. I don't really know why they did that. If they just mounted it a tiny bit, like 1 millimeter higher, it would have been one of the best scroll wheels I've ever used. But for that reason, it's just not. They mucked that up a little bit. But aside from that, though, everything else was really good. So button-wise, it does a fairly decent job. Now, with the additional software, so it has basic but easy to use software, so that's a lot better than. I'd rather basic and easy to use than too complicated but advanced to use. So that was one thing about it. You can program the buttons and set profiles, so that's a pretty standard thing you can do on many gaming mice these days, and also set up the DPI settings to whatever you want. So that's quite good, although the increments jump quite dramatically, so that might be annoying for some people. You can't just pull a bar across and set it to whatever you like. You can also set the polling rate, so whatever, if you really want to turn it down, you can. I don't know why you would, but you can if you want. And you can, you really want to be leaving point of precision off, okay? So just don't put point of precision on, not worth it, just don't do it. Setting up the colors was really easy though. As I said, RGB. There's not really that many lighting modes. There's just always on, which is self-explanatory. There's this color flow one, which I have had, well, I've been holding it, which just kind of flows through all the different colors, preset colors that is. Breathing mode, which will just breathe the color you want. And an APM breathing mode, which is every time you click, it will change color, which is quite distracting, I suppose, but it probably looks cool for other people. So if you're at a LAN party and you're playing like LOL or Dota or any other game like that where you have to click a lot, StarCraft, that might look quite cool. That's really the only time I think it would be that useful. Otherwise, color flow looks really good. The lighting itself shines really brightly. You can see it through the sides, the clear plastic on the sides. It looks really good. So I was really impressed with that. And the software overall was pretty good. You can set up macros and stuff as well. It's got all the main stuff there, so that's good. Should also mention that this mouse is plastic fantastic at its finest, build quality wise. You have these little sort of rubberized sides, but they don't feel that good. They're not that grippy. Otherwise, it's just plastic fantastic all the way through. And of course the braided cable we noted earlier. But build quality wise, it seems fairly solid. And at this price point, I mean, you can't expect too much. Which leads us now to the conclusion. So, it looks great. It has decent comfort for the most part. It's pretty good, and a medium sensor. It's an average type sensor. The buttons are okay, the scroll wheel is weird, and the software is basic, but it gets the job done. But the biggest point is, this is $49 for an RGB mouse, which does a fairly solid job overall. Like if I had to give this a rating out of 10, it would be a fairly solid 6.5 out of 10. That's just regardless of price. I would give this a 6.5. But when you include the price, this is some serious value for money, and you are getting a pretty decent gaming mouse for your money. So I do recommend the Rapoo V20. If you're in a pinch or you don't have that much money to spend on a gaming mouse and you just want something that'll get you by, I do recommend this. It will get you by very well. And there are other cheap gaming mice out there from other companies, like Logitech spring to mind. However, they don't do as many things as this does. Getting the RGB lighting as well, it's just, yeah, that really does take it to the next level, and it's a really, really solid value. So I do recommend this if you're in a pinch. However, in the grand spectrum, when we take money out of it, There's a hell of a lot of better gaming mice out there, but nothing, they're all about twice the price of this, or, you know, even 3 times the price of this guy. So value for money wise, it does a seriously good job. Now, thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe to Tech Showdown if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below letting me know, what should you let me know? Let me know what gaming mouse you're using and what made you decide to buy it, or what you like most about it. Now, thank you all for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.